It's not an entitlement. I paid 50 fucking years for Social Security. They spent the interest on something else. That's not my fault.
We are protecting Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. We do not see those as places to cut. The Republicans have just added $1.9 trillion to the deficit. And then they turn and want to cut Medicare. It's not going to work. People don't want that.
There's a whole other push on the left now to say, look, the only good thing that came from this tax cut is now Republicans can't talk about the deficit.
My point about the deficit is that the Republicans are unbelievable hypocrites. Right. The Republicans love to spend money. They just don't want to spend money on the people of the 5th District.
And it is very frustrating because I see people really struggling, and especially elderly people. Sometimes a spouse will pass away.
What are we going to become? A nation of 50% poor, older people, not getting health care of any kind of quality, or where are we going to live?
That's what it was before Social Security came into being. 50% of the population was under the poverty level. Okay. Social Security brought the seniors above poverty level.
Your opponents and the Republicans say, well, we can't afford it, we can't afford it.
When you put $1.9 trillion onto a credit card, which is what they've just done, asking our grandchildren to pay for it, and then you turn around and you say, oh, I just did something really expensive. I guess I better find something to sell off. If your priorities are very, very big donors and major corporations and giving tax breaks to those people, and of course 83% of the tax advantages go to those groups, then it's easy to turn around and say, well, we can cut these programs that other people desperately need, but our friends don't desperately need them.
When you go to Washington, you might not need these. I know you've been a terrific journalist, but in case you have to mix it up with your colleagues in the Congress, you put those. And the thing that strikes me the most about your opponent is his commitment to join the Freedom Caucus. The House voted on a budget last year that cut the Medicare program by $500 billion, that cut the Medicaid program by $1 trillion. The Freedom Caucus had a budget, it didn't pass, but the Freedom Caucus that he's going to join has a budget that's even worse.
This is a huge issue. We have a lot of older people in the district, and people understand those numbers, and they really don't want that to happen.
Don't cap the amount of income that you tax for Social Security. If you make $500,000, you pay your 7% on $500,000.
Scrap the cap.
Scrap the cap.
So let me, if I could make a comment on that. A lot of people don't even know there's a cap because they never made that much money, and they assume you pay your FICA tax on your wages. Mm-hmm. So there are bills in the Congress, and I'm hoping you'll look at them. You would get enough money that Social Security would be solvent for the rest of this century. That's why it's called the Social Security 2100 Act. I won't mention this person's name because I got into a little trouble when I did once before, but he's a very famous basketball player. I won't mention his name, but he played in Cleveland and now he plays in Los Angeles. Because the cap is 128.4, and because this very good basketball player makes so much money, get this, he stops paying FICA tax halfway through the first quarter of the first game of the basketball season. We did the math in the office. The rest of that quarter, the game, the season, the playoffs, the championship, no more payroll tax. And I bet this basketball player, I bet he'd be willing to at least pay FICA tax for that first quarter, the whole quarter. It'd make a big difference, exactly. So there are ways to do it that are fair. You cannot ask someone who stands on their feet all day as a nurse or a teacher, or someone who's in a factory or climbing telephone poles to work till they're 70 or 75. It doesn't make any sense.
You talk to younger kids today, and Social Security to them is like they don't even think that it's going to come up.
It isn't dwindling. It actually got healthier under the Obama administration. And right now, it's fine through 2034. So if you raise the cap, and that doesn't affect anybody who earns less than $128,000, it becomes completely solvent.
For younger people, what I say is it'll be there in the future if we do the right things, but it's there for you right now. Social insurance is insurance for families. A third of Social Security benefits go to non-retired workers, spouses, survivors. 3 million children get by in life because Social Security is there for them because they had a parent who became disabled or died young. If you are, for example, a 27-year-old working wage earner and you have a spouse and 2 children, you have right now about $500,000 in value of life and disability insurance because of Social Security. Never mind when you retire, but right now.
So go Leslie. I already voted, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. I could almost never see myself voting for a Democrat, okay, and that's changed. And I don't think I've changed a little bit, but a lot of it is the Republicans have moved away. Yeah, mellowed me a little bit. But the Republicans have moved away, you know, from anything rational. Now all it is basically destroy government, it seems to me.
A lot of these people are voting Republican, and they're voting against public school funding, they're voting against Social Security, they're voting against Medicare, they're voting against Medicaid. And the truth is, a lot of them are on one of those things, or using one of those things.
I just hope you can be mean when necessary.
Yeah, I'm good. Max just gave me some boxing gloves.
You have about roughly 5 more minutes, so if there's anything really important on your mind that you want to share.
Yes,
Now is
you
the
make
time.
me feel empowered.
Yay! Let me remind everybody, when we get in, we have a plan, which is we're getting buses, and everybody can book a place on the bus. We'll certainly have a bus from Farmville to go up to the house, to go to the office. We're going to take the door off the hinges. I have permission. So that it is an open office and that everyone feels welcome there and come anytime with any concern, and it will be like day and night from what we're experiencing right now.
The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.